Hi. So many a times you will get data sets in Excel in which you will have codes and you would need to look up for the values corresponding to those codes. Take for example in this sales data sheet, I've got a product code and when I want to do my analysis, I want to have the corresponding product line in a category. And in this case, I have got the codes and the corresponding product codes and product lines on a separate sheet. So it's best that we first fix up a formula that we're going to add over here uh, on this sheet and then bring it over here. So for the sake of simplicity, I'll say that whatever is the value in this particular column, look up for that particular value and give me the corresponding product line. So what we'll do is we are going to use a function called VLOOKUP, vertical lookup. So vertical lookup, what it does is that it looks up for a value. So what value to look for? Where do I look for it? And in this case, I look for it. So it looks up for in a particular range and the first column of a range. So in this case, it look for product code in whatever is the value in F3 in a column called product code from a table perspective, and from a worksheet perspective it will be in the column B. So I'll indicate that I am going to look for it up till the end of the table. And since it's a 2-column array, it is like, okay, which is the result that you want, the first column, second column. So in this case I'm going to look for the column second. If there are more columns and you want something from the column 4, you can do that, but remember that it is always going to look up for the value in the first column. So that's what we are doing. So, and the last parameter is about whether it should look for an approximate match or an exact match. Since this is a code, we're looking for an exact match, and I'll indicate that I would like to get a exact match, and I'll say false, and there you go. And I've been able to get classic cars for a code that I've written. Now let's say I change it to something like this, and you will find that it is returning NA. And especially when you are trying to summarize things, it becomes difficult, and there will be situations wherein you won't like this. So what you can do is you can add a formula called if NA, which basically means that send me this value if it is not a NA, otherwise just let it be blank. If value is found to be NA, then let it be blank, otherwise return me this value. So it will look for that and it will return a blank in case it is NA. Now the next part of it is, it's possible that this value or this value might have spaces. So let us say I hypothetically add a space over here. I make it like this and I look up for this now as 10, 1, 6, 7, 8, and I still cannot find it. The reason being, it's the first row itself, but there is an extra space over here. So if I do a simple if this is equal to this, you will find that it is returning a false. So what is the reason? Because there is a space, and this is common when you have strings and all. What you can do is you can trim both sides and see if you are getting true. So now I look for it and it is now true. So this is common with strings, that you have space in the left, you have space in the right, and there are many other situations in which you will need to apply string functions to get it correct. So if I trim, I get it correct. But now over here I have got a lookup on this particular table, which is not a set. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply a trim. We're going to apply a trim on the lookup table. So what we can do is we have to say trim, and I will trim everything for that matter, the entire strings, and I can say this, and since now this is working on an array, I will have to apply trim. If I just leave it like this, it will return a error. So I'll have to use array formulas. So array formulas are like they are working on an entire array. It's going to now look first convert, apply the formula on this array, and then look up for the value. So how to make it work? So you have to say Control Shift Enter, and now you got it. So now what is the formula? That look up for this value, where what value? Whatever is the first parameter that you have provided. Where do I look for? Whatever is the second address that you have provided. It's a range. And which column to return? It can be column 1, it can be column 2, it can be column 3. And what do I actually, whether it's approximate match or, so in this case I want a perfect match. Now if this thing returns a NA, then make sure that you replace it with a blank. And make sure that when you're looking up for a value, it is in the trim, you have trimmed it. So that is what the formula is. We've got the formula successfully over here, and now even if I type in this, you will find that it is like this. Now if I say S12 1099 and I try this, I get it correct. Now what is also possible is that I might have some issues in this column itself. I might add some space over here and I am not getting it. So what I need to do is make sure that I also trim my input. So I trim my input and I get this like this. So now my formula is complete. My input is trimmed, my lookup values are trimmed. If there is an error, then it is, so it will work perfectly in all situations, and in the process you have also learnt a few string manipulations. Now what do I need to do is I need to make this formula functional over here in my main sheet. So we'll try and do the same thing now that we've gotten a handle of it. So we look up, first thing I'm trying to look for this, and since we have trimmed it over there, we're going to trim it over here also, and I will add a trim. Now effectively, so this is my, what is the value I'm looking for? Then I'm looking for on this table. But I need to trim it over here also. So I'll trim it. Now I want to send the column number 2. That's why 2. And I want to say exact match. And Control Shift Enter. So that it remains like this. And now it is trying to, since it's a table, it is trying to populate each one of the rows, and it's taking a little longer, but it will work. Now you have got the product line and category against the product code. And you are good to actually analyze your data. So that's how you can use VLOOKUP effectively and also avoid some of the common problems with the strings. So in the next video, I'm going to quickly show on how to use the index function when the lookup column is not the first column. That is, I want to find out MSRP instead of product line. But my formula, my product code is still the same. I'm still giving product code as an input, but I remember in this case what we did was we took the table from here to here because we're going to look up for value over here and sent out the second column. So in the next one I'm going to show you index. So check out the next video for the same, and if you have more queries, do send it across and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching.